We are live. Abigail, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Sean?
I'm great. It's great to have you on.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk about my whole journey and everything.
Yes, I'm excited to hear about it. I saw your post on the Lacrosse Network on Instagram,
Yeah.
and immediately I went and sent you a message because your story sounds, one, incredibly interesting, and then two, I mean, something that I don't think I've heard of a story sort of
hmm
like yours, and then three, it just seems like it is challenging, and you're still sort of in that challenge. So I'm excited to learn more.
Yeah, thank you. It's been absolutely insane. I can say that. I did not expect the whole lacrosse network thing to happen, but I'm in the midst of like wrapping up the season and finishing my classes, and then all of a sudden, boom, it all kind of exploded. But I'm really glad that we crossed paths. I was able to check out your page a little bit, and I think it's so awesome what you're doing for the cancer community and really tying it with sports.
Yeah, yeah. So this is for those listening for the first time. This is the Cancers podcast, and I myself am a cancer survivor. And on the podcast, we have cancer survivors, but we also have guests on who go through what I call cancers in a metaphorical sense, and those are the things that are difficult obstacles to me in our lives. So this podcast is really a home for people who need inspiration, or maybe they've got through the inspiration, they have the inspiration, but now they need to figure out how to think intentionally when getting through hard obstacles. So having guests like you on helps a ton, because people who are listening, not only they find inspiration, but they find practical solutions for some of the issues and challenges that they're going through in their lives.
Absolutely. I think your podcasts are really inspiring. I got the chance to listen. I absolutely love your mission and everything.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, for those who haven't seen or aren't in the lacrosse world, could you describe your story?
Yeah, of course. Let me start by contextualizing a little bit. I've been a competitive lacrosse player my entire life. So, I'm actually from California, so that was a lot of like back and forth to the East Coast, and it basically took up my entire high school career. I graduated high school earlier this year. So, my junior year, 2 years ago, I committed to play lacrosse in the East Coast, a small D1 in Jersey. And following that, I was a passenger in a car accident, and the car accident was scary, don't get me wrong, but everyone was totally fine. But a few weeks later, I started developing left leg weakness and left leg pain. And this just turned into this whole journey of chronic pain for a year. And I ended up decommitting, attending my local community college. And then somehow I ended up on the men's lacrosse team as the only female.
So, what was the school that you committed or were planning to go to play at in New Jersey?
Rider University. It was a brand
Okay.
new program.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And you've been
Yeah.
playing lacrosse for how long?
Since I was 7 years old, so about 11 years.
Wow. So you love the game.
My family has become a lacrosse family. My brother plays. My dad coached me all through growing up, and we've been all over the East Coast.
That's amazing. Yeah, lacrosse is it's a beautiful sport
It
for
really
so many
is.
reasons. So the were you when you felt, I guess, the pain start, so it wasn't just an immediate you got in the car wreck and
Mm-mm.
you had pains, it sort of slowly came on?
It slowly came on. So we were all totally fine after the accident. It was a big accident, but no like acute injuries. And then all of a sudden, it progressed into worse and worse pain over the year.
Okay, and was that during the season or was it during the off season?
It was right when my high school junior season was starting, and then it went through my off-season senior year and then into the high school senior year.
Okay, so what was that like, sort of learning about this pain, going through it, and balancing all of that and what the future might hold for you?
It was very nerve-wracking because especially when, junior year I committed, so I was thinking, I am so set. I don't have to worry about college apps, don't worry about have to worry about anything, my future. I have this determined future. And then after that all happened, it was like my thoughts were just spiraling. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Am I even going to be able to play lacrosse in the future? And there were just so many directions that I could have taken, because the thing is, with my recruiting, I really thought that the only path that I had, because my parents had invested so much money and so much time with getting me recruited, was I'm just going to go play Division 1, when I really didn't explore, like, maybe I could play academically and play club, or maybe I could go to a D3 school or something. But it was so set on D1 that it kind of, my world just shattered when this whole injury happened, because your whole life you think it's going to go one way, and then it just totally goes a different way. So that senior year was a bit overwhelming, but I figured it out towards the end and made the decision to go to community college.
Do you remember when you had to come to terms with that decision and you realized that I'm not going to be a Division 1 player?
I wouldn't say there was one event that I felt that way, but definitely it was like an everyday um, identity crisis, I guess, because it was like one day I'm feeling good and, oh, maybe I can stay. The next day I feel absolutely terrible, and lacrosse is not going to be my future. So it was like a flip flop thing. And
Mhm.
then I feel like it was me really taking that risk of, I'm going to not play lacrosse and see where my academics take me my senior year. So
Okay, so you chose to not play your senior year,
mhm.
foregoing that. So, did you go through any rehabs, surgeries?
Yes. Sorry, let me give you a little bit of context about my injury and what happened. So
Yeah.
after the car accident, I developed this left leg pain and weakness. And I was, as an athlete, growing up as an athlete, we've always been taught, play through pain and just grit it out. So I was doing that for a while. But over time, my pain got continually worse and worse, to the point where it became almost impossible to do simple tasks such as sitting, walking, running. And there was even a point where I couldn't even get out of the car on my own, because my left leg would just give out on me. So I got it checked out. It turned out that I had a herniated disc. And it's kind of weird with herniated discs, because about 90% can heal on its own and it won't turn into chronic pain. But I was part of the 10% that it won't heal on its own and it turns into chronic pain. So I tried everything, you name it. You know, physicians gave me different treatments, and then online did all these different things. So it was just, um, just trying everything possible. But it was really discouraging because everything was failing. And I gritted out for a year, and then I ended up getting surgery earlier this year, and then I woke up, didn't have any pain, and it was absolutely magical. But during that time of having that chronic pain, I learned a lot about myself and just about everything.
What did you learn?
There's a whole long list that I could go through, but sorry, I didn't mention this before. Throughout my injury, I was very, how do I put this? I tended to isolate myself a lot, because being in pain all the time, you sometimes just, the easiest thing to do is just crawl into a little ball, cry in the corner, and that's obviously not the best way to go about things. But I think the biggest thing that I learned is that it's really in these moments of adversity that we are being tested, of whether we take the easy route and just be negative and grouchy, or if we are positive and just have a smile on our face, be kind to others, and be grateful for everything. Like, I think I took it a lot for granted that I wasn't very grateful for the fact that I literally was still alive from that car accident. I have fully functional limbs. I still have all my limbs, and just living the life that I do was a huge thing. Anyways, as I was saying about, I was isolating myself. Another part that I learned about this was I wasn't very expressive with my injury, so I was very closed off because I felt like it showed a sign of weakness. So I didn't express it to many people, so I lost a lot of friends in the process, unfortunately. But as I continued with this injury and I started opening up to my TikTok account about it, I started documenting my journey. I grew a virtual community of young athletes who were going through chronic pain or the same injury that I had, because
Mm,
there weren't that many resources on the internet about it. But it was really great to connect with other athletes just across the world who were going through the same things as me.
that's
And
amazing.
yeah, I know that what you're doing on social media with connecting with all sorts of athletes as well, it's just so cool to see, you know? I think social media is very powerful.
Oh yeah, people like to talk about the negatives, and there are, and you
Yes.
can point them out, but there are also a lot of positives in connections that can help people. So your TikTok, I'm not really on TikTok, so I haven't
Yeah.
actually seen your TikTok. So you're connecting with other like high school, college
All
athletes.
ages.
Amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think that it's really easy, very easy to be closed off. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, you lose a lot of opportunities and a lot of friendships. But, you live and you learn. And, when you when you face adversity, it's always good to choose the ladder of be smiley, be kind to others, and just be grateful.
Exactly. That's great advice. So after your senior year, you decided to go to community college and play boys lacrosse. Can you tell us about that? Because that's unique. I think that's where people are gonna look at the podcast description and look at your social media and say, "Whoa, that's crazy."
Yeah, I kind of have to tell the story about this. So I got surgery, oh my goodness, February, and I spent a lot of time recovering from that. And like I said, I didn't think I was going to play lacrosse again. I still continue to post on social media about lacrosse because obviously it's my passion. Even if I wasn't going to play, I am very passionate about the sport and still wanted to be involved in the community. But I continued posting and stuff, but I never expected to get back on the field. And one day, it was later, beginning of summer, so Mayish. My mom and I were picking up a stick from the local lacrosse store, and so the guy that was working there we were just chit chatting, and he was asking me, "Oh, where do you play?" So my mom interjects and was like, "Oh my gosh, she was committed to play D1 lacrosse, and then she got into this car accident, had this whole injury and everything, and now she's going to community college." And we were just joking about, she'll play for the men's lacrosse team. And so then the guy was saying, "Oh, I'm actually the team captain. I can actually get you on the lacrosse team." And I was thinking, wow, this is absolutely insane. And let me first start off by saying that when I decided to go to community college, the first thing I did do, though, was look for a women's team. And then I saw that they didn't have a women's team. So then I tried to start one, but then that failed. And then I did see the men's team. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking that would be insane if you played for the men's team, especially like after surgery and everything. But I was feeling better at this point. So I got in contact with the team captain, and then he told the coach about me. And then one day they had the summer preseason, and then I just decided to show up because I was feeling better and was like, let me take a risk. I'm feeling better. And throughout my injury, I've always been like, you know, the next time every if you ever get the chance to step on the field, you should treat it like it's your last. It may be the last time that you're going to step on the field because you never know what's going to happen in your life. You may get injured or something may happen. And so I decided to take that risk after my injury. So that's
That's
my story of how I got on the men's lacrosse team.
Yeah, and for people who aren't lacrosse connoisseurs, the difference between men's lacrosse and women's lacrosse is it's really they're both like sort of unique sports. Like the rules are vastly different. Like if you watch on TV, they almost look like I mean, you can tell they're lacrosse, but they look incredibly different. And the men's lacrosse game is extremely physical. You're all padded up.
Hmm.
Women's lacrosse, you wear the goggles, and it's actually like really dangerous. Like women's lacrosse is very dangerous because of that. You probably wear helmets, but um, that. So, what was that adjustment like of changing essentially sports and going to a much more physical sport?
It's been crazy because you can look at the pictures on my phone, but it's like my teammates are 6 feet, however tall, and I'm 5 foot 4.5. So it's definitely been crazy. I try to use my strengths to my advantage. Obviously, my weak point is biologically, I'm a lot smaller, but they're very physical for sure. But I do have to say, as a girl, sometimes they don't hit me as hard sometimes. But throughout this whole entire time, I really didn't think much about it and just went straight into it.
Yeah.
In the past, I'm totally a chicken, would have never played men's lacrosse, but I really think though that going through my injury gave me a different mindset into how I go about things.
What is that mindset if you could boil it down?
I think the mindset is really don't think too much about it and just do it. I mean, if you have a dream, then go chase it. And, life is short, so just go after it. Don't think about it.
Yeah, I love that. And what position are you playing right now?
I'm an attacker.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You could probably use the off ball movement in your brains
Definitely.
to beat some of the big defensemen. That's like
Mhm.
one of the, especially at the next level, the off ball movement is so key. I'm starting to nerd out and get off the rails on the podcast, but no, I love that. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
I just kind of sneak behind them and just be like, I'm open.
That's good. I suited up last week with our high school team that I
Mhm.
coach because I'm out of college now and I'm very rusty. And I played goalie in
Oh,
club
nice.
in college, and sort of I sat out my senior year because I had so much pain after surgeries. I just could not take the pain, and then I started to focus on my health. Then I was able to play in college again. However, I played for the first time ever, I played attack slash midi in our
Oh,
practice,
nice.
and I thought I fared pretty well, but I got whacked in the arm and then on my knees,
Oh, yikes.
and my knees both swelled up, and I literally couldn't walk for like pretty much up until today is the first day I'm not feeling pain in my knee. Really, I thought I really paid the price.
Yeah. It's a physical sport for sure.
Yeah, and getting whacked with those metal poles is just it hurts. As a goalie, you don't think about it, but then when you're out there, oh my gosh.
Wow, but being a goalie, that's gotta be a tough position for sure.
It's fun. It's all adrenaline rush. If you're an adrenaline junkie, it's awesome. If you're not, then it's not fun at all.
Definitely.
So I forgot you mentioned earlier like the transition. So are y'all it's fall right now. So you're going into your first regular season pretty soon?
No, so my school's team is actually different. We only have a fall season, so this
Interesting.
spring, I'm not gonna be playing lacrosse. We'll see what happens, but I'll
Okay.
be trying to train independently because I still do want a shot at playing women's lacrosse again.
Okay, awesome. So tell me a little bit about that. You mentioned like dreaming big. I think that's super important and incredible. People have aspirations and everything. So I'd love to hear about sort of those dreams.
Yeah, so I mean, right now I'm kind of in a weird situation where I'm just trying to focus on academics because, like I said, I planned all of this way before when I thought that I didn't have a shot at playing lacrosse again. But over my rehab, because so let me preface this by saying during my time that I was injured, I spent a lot of time training. I think working out was a big part of my recovery because even though it did hurt to work out and everything, I continued to train through the pain because it did temporarily make my injury feel better. But after my surgery, I felt a lot better because as I had continued to move my body and everything, I recovered a lot quicker than I thought I would have. So I've just been focusing on my academics, but on the side, I've been training rigorously because I still want a shot at, like, if I get in academically, I want to try to walk on, or if a coach decides to pick me up, it's a heck yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So where are you on that journey?
For academics or
Well, just in terms of like are you taking one more semester or
yes, so
okay.
I did 12 units over the summer. I'm doing 24 units right now and 24
Okay.
units next semester. And if I don't get in this cycle, then I will be doing another year at community college.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
I'm in the
Awesome.
midst of applying.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's great, and I think that one thing on your applications is like your story is incredible. So like I think that
Thank
that
you.
alone is huge for sure. And like if I'm a college recruiter, at least in my opinion, I feel like a lot of these college want people who have aspirations and want to go do great things, and I think that what you've done already is great. You've faced adversity and you've gone through the adversity, and you played and men's lacrosse, which is just honestly, it's awesome. So
Thank
I
you.
love that.
Thank
So,
you.
do you know
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let
oh,
me just
you're
let my
good.
dog out real quick.
Yeah, you're fine.
My dog is really loud. I'm so sorry.
No problem at all. So, do you know like what you want to do post college, or what lacrosse has for you? You have any ideas on that?
Yes, absolutely. So I throughout high school, I didn't really have much direction, and the only future I was really thinking of was, let me just go play Division 1 lacrosse. That was it. I didn't think anything further past that. So, all my entire high school purpose was playing lacrosse. But as I endured my injury, I think it really forced me to slow down, take a step back, and really think about life outside of lacrosse. And because my identity has the years that I spent working towards this identity was kind of stripped away from me, it really forced me to develop a new identity. So I was really thinking about what I'm going to do academically or what's going to happen after college. And I think I really discovered a love for medicine because I ended up really loving my science courses. I think going through my injury, it developed a different kind of empathy that I never had before my injury because, with my injury, nobody really knew that I had the injury that I had. You can't see it on me unless you really pay attention to the fact that my foot drags when I walk. But I think that, my injury really taught me that you never know what people are going through in their lives, even if you can't see it. You really have to take into account how many things are going on in other people's lives, and this really shapes the way that they act or the decisions that they make, and you can never judge someone for that. And because of that developed empathy that I got from the injury, it really pushed me towards a career in medicine. So I would absolutely love to become a physician in the future. I would love to become a surgeon who treats the same type of spine injuries that I had. So that's what I've been working towards right now. And I've been volunteering at the hospital. I've had a lot of patient interactions, and I absolutely love everything about it. And I really wish I could do more for the patients. So I think that drives me every course that I take or every step that I make, honestly.
That's amazing you mentioned that, because what seemed like sort of a curse, getting in a car accident,
Hmm.
sustaining an injury, and your path going from what you thought it would be to something new has sort of set you on a different path and a different passion. But lacrosse is still there, and everything you love is
Yeah.
still there. But now you have time, you have a little patience to think about what you want. And now you have a new perspective and a way to connect with others going through what you've been through.
Yeah, for sure. I think I really developed a different purpose that I didn't understand before. I think throughout my injury, I had a lot of self-antagonizing thoughts of and like asking God, why me? But I think my injury really strengthened my relationship with my faith in God because I realized that the path that he was taking me on with the injury and just overcoming that barrier really made me understand that it was all part of strengthening myself to who I am today.
That's amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
It's incredibly inspiring. So one question that I ask to everyone, it's the final question of the podcast, is how do you turn your cancers into answers?
That's a deep question. I think, like I said earlier, I think that all adversity that we face is really a test of what we do, how we go about them. And you have so many different paths that you can take. And sometimes you have to choose the more challenging ones that is for the better of others. And really engaging with your community has helped me significantly through my adversities. And I would highly encourage anyone that is going through any sort of adversity to become an active participant in society and help others around you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. One of I'm a Notre Dame fan, and Marcus Freeman, our head coach, he always says, choose hard. That's one of the team mottos. So I love that,
Beautiful.
challenging yourself and then being in the community. That's so important. Well, Abigail, I had a great time learning about your journey. I know everybody listening did as well. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you so much for having me. It was great to meet you. I think you
Yeah,
have some amazing words, wise words, and I think your podcast is doing great things.
I appreciate it. And I think your platform is only going to grow. And I can't wait to see where you go on your journey. One really interesting thing is for all the people who I've had on the show, a lot of people who've been through hard things, it's almost like they're aged and in a good way. Not calling you old or anything or calling anyone on the
Okay,
podcast
sure,
old,
sure.
but it ages you in these difficult times or tests, give you wisdom on
For
life and
sure.
make you think more intentionally. And I think that most people who have come on, despite all the difficult circumstances that they've been through, wouldn't trade those experiences for the world because
100%.
of how much they teach you.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Have a great night, and wish you the best of luck in
You
school
too.
and in wax.
Thank you.